Can't wait till this show is over, dog. And we are live. Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock. It is Monday, May 13th. I am Josh Engleman. I am joined by Eric Lindquist. We are brought to you by Underdog. And everything that we were going to do to start this show has completely changed because Donovan Mitchell will not be playing today, which is a pretty good thing for my lineups considering he is in 80% of them at this moment. Everything I have is about to change. We need all of the updated data. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live, and follow us both on Twitter. No Donnie Mitch today. Not as if it mattered much for the series itself, but it certainly matters from a DFS perspective.
It matters a lot from a betting perspective for me, too. Last night, Leans Likes Locks talked through the entire situation, felt really confident that this was a serious issue for Donovan Mitchell going into a game 4 where I felt as though this gave him a really good opportunity to maybe hit the brakes. He's not going to be with Cleveland next year. Can we agree with that?
I would be shocked if he's there past the deadline. I would be very surprised if he was there to start the season.
I would be very surprised as well if he were there to start the season. But anyway, you're a massive dog here. I think he's actually hurt coming off of that game. He's been awesome in this series, and I think he's elevated himself into a discussion where there are a lot of teams that want to go after this version of him, and they're not going to get past Boston in the East here. They weren't with Jarrett Allen, without Jarrett Allen, with Donovan Mitchell. It didn't matter in a lot of ways. And so for me, if he's actually hurt in any way, shape, or form, it's not even necessarily the team. It's Donovan Mitchell who should be very, very cautious because he's kind of played in this series into the conversation of like somebody that you want to go get for some of these other teams that are in a position to win now, whether that be, I doubt New York, it's not really a great fit with Jalen Brunson. I think San Antonio would be the absolute stone cold nuts in my mind. I think with 2 picks in the top 8 now, they've elevated themselves into a spot where they might be more aggressive than we think to go get Donovan Mitchell and go for it for a year. That's my prime idea of it. And so talked through the process of it last night, but none of that was actionable. What was actionable is he was on the injury report. It was an actual injury. And this felt pretty clear cut that like, if there was a 50-50, Donovan Mitchell might side on the side of caution. So I am very happy because I'm on pretty much every alternate line on Garland, on Mobley, and specifically on Caris LeVert, who's probably the best play on the slate now.
Yeah, I'm assuming that he just grades out as a yeah, he does.
He's the unequivocal nuts. I am on 10 plus points, 4 plus assists, 15 plus points, 6 plus assists, like laddered him the whole way up. So he's probably going to get in early foul trouble and never see the floor again. And I'm going to be broke. So that'll be fun.
Sports Guy 24 says he'll be on the Lakers next year, guaranteed. They'll find a way. They won't, and he won't. That is basically impossible. Basically impossible.
Better chance of the Clippers if you wanted to talk an LA team. Clippers could make it work, but I doubt they will.
Better chance of the Lakers in that the Clippers don't have any real draft assets to be able to send, and at least the Lakers will. But even still, someone else can beat whatever package the Lakers are putting together. Nobody gives a shit about Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and their 3 picks.
Nope. No, they do.
Nor should they. Nor should they. Yeah, look, no matter how you have Caris LeVert projected, he is now the #1 play today. 4,600 point guard, shooting guard eligible. He'll be 70-something% owned, and he should be. I assume he'll be in just about everything that I do. I'm still making some 100%. Tweaks to minutes. We're still getting our updates in. And we've got a ton of time because this has changed the entire scope of the slate. We now have a complete change in our value operations. Donovan Mitchell was like 25 to 30% owned prior to this happening. So now we have more value. This changes how you get to SGA. This completely changes the way that you can get to Luka Doncic. It probably makes the Boston guys look incrementally worse. I don't know how Cleveland creates even a remotely close amount of offense without just letting this shit sail tonight. What did the line move to, actually? It's got to be like 10.5. I would imagine it
Yeah.
didn't move too much. Okay, it's 12. Holy shit.
Yeah,
So
it had to
the
move.
assumption the assumption there in that line now is everybody thought he was going to play. Like, for it to move that far, there wasn't a lot of no in the weighting of this. Like, if you think the line with him out should be 12.5 and you think the line with him in is 8, like, it was basically 8.5 all day. So the assumption, I think, was that he was going to be playing. To see that move 3.5, 4 points, God, Boston's going to kick the shit out of them.
I'm so happy. Again, my thing that I've just been firing up, maybe it's kind of a cheat code, I don't know. We have 2 game 2s in both of these series that have made Boston, quote unquote, undervalued in some of these bounce back spots. I've now just continued to lock and just fire Boston spread. They're 6-2 against the spread in the playoffs, and people they act as though it's some vulnerable basketball team that shouldn't be the title favorites. They are the best team in the NBA. Everybody needs to stop it. And I know that there's some people that are like hearing what I'm saying and being like, oh, nobody thinks that, Eric. You aren't on my YouTube notifications. You aren't in the YouTube comment section. I promise you.
Yeah.
These people walk amongst us. It is wild to me that I keep locking Boston. Everybody's like, Cavs for $1 million. And it's like, dude, I could bet the Cavs the other side of this and have like a 4-point middle. I could have, everything that I wanted in the entire universe. And once Allen officially gets ruled out, because I haven't seen that news come through either, might move another half point. So this could be 13 by the time we're done with things.
God, this team is gross. So it's going to be, is your assumption Garland, LeVert, Strus, Okoro, Mobley?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Sam Merrill, I have for more minutes than you could possibly believe. I think Cleveland goes out and tries to chuck threes. I think Sam Merrill could walk into 26, 28 minutes. I put him in for 26 right now. Dean Wade looked pretty good. We know what he can be on the defensive end, kind of a 0 from a fantasy perspective, but he's cheap. And now Dean Wade back. He had been out forever. I hate that he's center only, but 17 minutes. I had him for 14 in that first game back. And I was a little bit surprised that he got up to 17, but I think they're going to probably go to a lot of Dean Wade in some of these spots because of what he's able to do defensively. And I think that might cut into what I tried to do with Okoro. Like, Okoro has a downside. We saw that right off the bat, 21, 18 minutes there for him. I am a big fan of, in tournaments, just turning up the ratchet on Sam Merrill, probably compared to what the field's going to do. And then Dean Wade, I feel like I'm just going to kind of react to where the field is confident or not confident in him.
I'm taking a look at Merrill now. I went 20 minutes and at 3,100, he looks pretty solid. And that's, I still have a couple of minutes to allocate. I'm trying to figure out if I think they put anybody else in, if they try to go a little bit bigger with Niang or Marcus Morris.
I think Niang's dead. I think he's dead. I think he's played himself
I don't think he
out
can
of...
be now.
Really?
But like, I get where you're going there.
Okay.
I just don't think they have enough bodies for him to be dead. Like 8 to 12 minutes, unless the shot's not falling, is probably has to happen sort of by default.
How many exotics did I just list? Jordan Klein, we're having a professional show here trying to break down all the ins and outs, and you have to bring up exotic play of the day right off the bat. I mean, it's one person, Dean Wade. That's all. Oh, no, I brought up Sam Merrill too. I think he's going to play a boatload of minutes. Yeah.
I mean, so I think the real interesting person that we need to talk about right now is Darius Garland, who is probably going to be like 60% owned. Oh, dude, I hate him.
Every show we've ever done together where he's chalk doesn't go well, ever. Like, and we both end up with like 100% of him because it's like, what else do you do? But I think there's ways out of it today, at least, because of how much I'm going to get.
I disagree.
Really?
His points prop right now is 20.5. A little bit of juice to the under, so let's call it 20 points. I bumped him to 38 minutes and 24.5% usage. At 24.5% usage, for the record, he's at 27.5 for the season. Allen off, Mitchell off, only playing alongside the guys that are going to play today. If I take him up to that normal usage rate, 38 minutes, 26.5% usage, that takes him to 20 real points. I have his, like, he's arguably as good of a play as Caris LeVert, just doesn't have the MPE. If you're a believer in that 20-point prop, and it's coming down, so like even if you want to say 19.5, He's the second best play on the slate now.
I am probably with you, but I'm saying that like what we have is other point guard only guys, specifically Luka and Shea. And because they exist and because they're expensive and because they're the guys that I project to score the most fantasy points, I think there's ways away from Garland. That's what I was saying, is that I
Sure.
think you don't have to be playing as much Garland. Like the thing that makes Karis LeVert absolutely 100% impossible to get away from me, probably having 100%, is shooting guard positionality. And because he has that, I find no escaping just jamming him, Jared Allen out. So I am very much in the camp that Karis LeVert is unavoidable, whereas Darius Garland, while at 6,200, he's going to look fantastic. Yep, we got the exact lineup that we expected. Garland, LeVert, Strus, Okoro, Mobley. I think that you can get away from the Garland side purely because we want to get the raw points of Luka and SGA.
This is about to be insane.
It's so fun. I'm actually just excited because no matter what happens, I was on the right side of like one of these way ahead of time predictionary things, and I never feel like I get these ones right. I feel like something always happens from nowhere to screw me over. So I'm assuming they're going to lose by 40, and I'm going to get like 20 minutes of Karis LeVert, and I'm going to be in shambles. But I'm not going to play it that way, just the same way that I couldn't play to 27% of people deciding that it was a great idea to jam absolute worst play on the slate, not remotely close, not a remote second yesterday in Alec Burks. It's just ridiculous. But Karis LeVert, you could have as much of him as you wanted today. It's not wrong.
Max Strus also sees a pretty sizable usage bump now. 211 minutes in that same sort of scenario that I was outlining earlier, just north of 17.5% usage for Strus. I don't see any props on him yet. As best I could tell, Garland and Mobley are the only two people that exist in the prop market right now. At least that's on FanDuel. And we'll get a huge update. We still have 45 minutes to sort of work our way through. This is insane.
This is an awesome slate. For everybody playing at Underdog, our sponsor, for P, you know the other one, and then Pick, you know the other one. There are awesome opportunities. I will say the DK variety is the most difficult one because they were the only site out of every place sharp enough not to put out any props outside of Mitchell. And that was kind of the thing that tipped me off this morning where I was like, man, it's like 9 o'clock. I do my shorts in the morning and they're still not throwing anything together. So I had to make some choices this morning where it was like, I really don't think Donovan Mitchell is going to play if they're that confident in not dropping anything else. Looking at the rates specifically, yeah, no Allen, no Mitchell on the floor. George Niang, again, 798 minutes. I think what's hard is that he's the guy who's the largest minute sample, and I still have like an inclination to take him off the floor, but I'm not going to, purely because I want to keep the sample size intact of like a larger sample size for some of these guys. But Karis LeVert, 22.8% usage. Darius Garland, 28% usage. So what you're saying is very, very true. And he didn't even shoot the ball particularly well with Mitchell off. 52% effective field goal percentage. Whether you want to say that's because defenses can key in on him or not is interesting. But I want to throw out Evan Mobley, 63.2% true shooting there, only a 22.2% usage. We saw him be assertive in the game too. That's what they really needed from him. Evan Mobley is going to be a weird guy as we get everything updated here, as we start to solidify what we're comfortable with. Positionality is going to matter. 7,400 for him. I am very curious to see where Evan Mobley shows up here because this could be a spot where that's probably one of the keys to their offense functioning. 38, 40 minutes of Evan Mobley tonight.
Dude, I keep updating these rates for Karis LeVert, and it's breaking more and more. So
I told you, 100%. He was.
Oh, well, yeah. There was never a doubt for Karis LeVert.
Yeah.
But he's pulling away after making like a assist rate adjustments and stuff. He's pulling away from Garland even more. 4,600 point guard, shooting guard. I have his target score at 25. I also have him projected for 36.
So dumb, dude. We're talking about a bench guy that, I mean, there's just no way around it. There's no way around it.
I think there's basically no way around Garland as well. At the very least, we're going to see him be probably the second most owned guy on the slate. Mobley, I think, ends up being third. I think Strus is going to be the fourth dude after this. There's going to be a little bit. I think Merrill probably ends up looking better than Okoro, or at least he does for me in this moment.
I think Okoro is very, very risky purely because of Dean Wade. Dean Wade playing 17 minutes makes me think that they can go to Dean Wade whenever they really want to and probably play him 20 plus in this spot if they really so choose.
I went 20 to Wade. He will largely not matter because for some reason Cleveland or DraftKings has him as center only.
It's so bad. I not having power forward was the like the first thing that I flagged really with it, where I was like, why? Like he's going to play the four exclusively, and he's had power forward center, I feel like, the entire year until now, which useless, absolutely useless.
Man, this is just insane. Have we gotten any more props? Because I'd really like to see if they unlock LeVert and some of the rest of these guys. LeVert is at 17 and a half. Oh my God. Okay, so I have LeVert with everything that I just said. FanDuel has him 17 and a half even action. I have him at 15.7, which means I'm still like 2 points off of Caris LeVert. Everything just keeps looking better and better for him.
I can't wait, dude.
In like a crazy way.
I can't wait. Honestly, there's going to be something I have to do where I take the other side of this too, because I think there's such a gigantic middle that I have now where I got to at least take a crack at it.
I feel like you just called yourself a crack addict.
Is that wrong?
No, I'm addicted to this. Yeah.
Joe Rogan, I smoke rocks.
LeVert is just on a different planet. I have, oh my God, that is insane.
I have him for a 23.5 point fantasy score, fantasy target for what it's worth. And again, I have him for 37 and change. So
I have him 13 points ahead of his target. The only other person that I have projected north of even is Darius Garland at +5. Everybody else is slightly negative, which is what it should be.
Yep.
Yeah, LeVert lock button. He's going to be 80+% owned.
Don't care.
Oh no, it doesn't matter at all to me. I wish the news actually would have came in like 20 minutes from now, but you know.
Yeah, that's really the only thing that I care about. But again, for me, I'm just going to smile knowing that again, I haven't been on the right side of timing one of these in a long time, and it feels good to kind of really smash that. I think the one thing I'm a little worried about is, like defensively. But I mean, that's the nice thing. It's Drew Holiday, Derek White, as opposed to some of the other pieces, but it's a game 4 of the playoffs. Like if you were ever looking for minute certainty for somebody like Caris LeVert in a spot like this, it is truly only injury or foul trouble that's going to keep him off the floor.
We outdated ownership. We have LeVert at 93 and a half. we have Garland at 80, and then we have Strus at 50.
Strus is interesting because I know why that's happening. The positionality, the price tag, everything completely makes sense.
That ownership on LeVert is something special. I'm pretty happy with where I have these guys projected at this point. I might be a little heavy on Okoro, but I just feel like that dude just never gets the minutes that I want him to.
No, he does not.
I'm
nervous about the Wade thing. That's what it is. I mean, if Okoro is gonna go 1 for 7 from the floor, they'll just rip him off and put Dean Wade because he's the better defender. And
I mean, they're gonna play Dean Wade as many minutes as Dean Wade can play. Because he's the better than the other guys.
4th best player on the team right now.
He definitely fits in their best 5 better than anybody else. Like they're already lacking on size. They've already pulled the plug on George Niang. Marcus Morris isn't the answer. You just need somebody slightly bigger.
True.
I just don't know how many. Like I don't know what his legs are like. He's been out for ages.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I can't put him over 20 because of that, but I want to. Like I know that they would want to as well, but that's where I'm pretty comfortable in just jamming Sam Merrill to some extent. Like. There's no path for me to get away from Caris LeVert, but I'm very curious how much Sam Merrill I end up with in the wash at the end of the day here, because I do think you want to try to win one game in this spot as massive dogs. Don't you just go out and chuck and not really worry about how bad he is defensively and just hope that somehow, some way he gets 6-7 threes to go down for you? Like,
yes,
it's what I think you would do if I were coaching, and I'm pretty sure that that's what Bickerstaff and all the other guys will do.
All right, we're 25 minutes in. I'm going to hit on the Malakar gifted 5 subs. Chris Williams gifted 5 subs. I want to shout those two out. Green checkmark said Garland, Hardaway, or Drew and Lively. DraftKings single entry. I don't love the idea of playing Hardaway, but Garland plus something.
Yep. Hardaway is so hard to get to now because you have unlimited value.
Yeah.
And you have Lively. And you have, like, there's just no world I really see myself getting to a share of Tim Hardaway Jr. today.
No, he was already only 5% owned before this. Ace of Spades wants tiers.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get to that. Getting it pulled up now.
Somebody also said Pritchard over 8.5, that's like a smash. I will say I have a 7.5 that I have attached to all of the pieces here because one of the main things I did, Boston -8 with Peyton Pritchard 7.5 with the Karis LeVert piece. Darius Garland would be more prone to be out in blowout run. And, you know, we're just seeing Peyton Pritchard in garbage time cleanup. I mean, that's been what it is all season long. So Peyton Pritchard, I think, yeah, 7.5, 8.5. I do like both of those, but would have liked to, you know, probably attach it to the spread earlier in the day for sure, as opposed to like 13 now. I guess it's kind of the same thing where you're still playing towards some of that blowout run. He's in the rotation as it is, but Peyton Pritchard, yeah, 7.5, 8.5. I like both of those.
All right. Ace of Spades, Doncic, SGA, Tatum, and formerly Mitchell. That will be Doncic.
No kidding.
Kyrie, Jaylen Brown, Evan Mobley, Jalen Williams.
I want to see what I finished up with Evan Mobley. I got him at 41 and change. So that's Kyrie for me.
That is Kyrie for me as well. Tier 3, Chet, Derek White, Darius Garland, Drew Holiday, PJ Washington.
Darius Garland by a lot.
Yes. Here we go. Giddey, LeVert, Gafford, Strus, Horford, Dort.
Karis LeVert by the largest of margins that have ever been.
Yeah. The fact that Giddey and LeVert are in the same tier, I have them separated by 23 fantasy points.
I have them separated by 25 minutes.
I got it at 23.
Okay.
Holiday, White, Brown, Tatum, Horford.
White.
No, sorry, I was reading off the Celtics starting lineup.
Just telling you.
Tier 5. Tim
just
Hardaway,
looking at my projections.
Tim Hardaway, Derek Lively, Peyton Pritchard, Isaac Okoro, Derek Jones Jr., Luke Cornett, Aaron Wiggins.
That is Derek Lively.
It is Derek Lively. If you want it to be Derek Jones Jr., if you prefer a different Derek, I think they're basically the same. And then tier 6, Josh Green, Sam Hauser, Isaiah Joe, Dean Wade, Kaysen Wallace, Sam Merrill, Jalen Williams, Marcus Morris.
Isaiah Joe, but don't sleep on Dean Wade now.
Yeah. Joe, Merrill, Wade, Jalen Williams. I think they're all pretty much the same sort of dude today.
I'm on under 7.5 points and 8.5 points for Isaiah Joe today, too, for whatever it's worth.
Darren Unger, Wade, SGA, Jalen Williams, Holiday, Brown, Mobley, 3v3 on FanDuel. Play them both. Not the answer you're going to want.
Yep. All of them combined.
I mean, Holiday, Brown, Mobley has 3 real basketball players in it. Wade, SGA, Jalen Williams doesn't. I don't trust Wade. I trust a Holiday, Brown, Mobley lineup a lot more. So,
all right, I'm all set. By the way, I've just ran all my stuff.
And you have answers?
I have answers to a certain extent. I mean, obviously the ownership's going to change over 30 minutes, and I'm going to keep going and going and going. But I have my first run of everything completely in the books because, again, I kind of already built it out without Donovan Mitchell. So that's how come I was so confident to say 100% Karis and Sam Merrill. And, you know, I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted to do ahead of time based on what I think the field's going to do. I do have to pay attention to the ownership because this is an ownership game too. So obviously very much paying attention to that. If Karis LeVert ends up 93.5%, I don't really care. I'm still going to have 100%. But I do think Tatum, SGA, and I think this is probably where I want to start the conversation with you. Have you updated anything? Have you ran anything yet?
No, not even close.
Okay, cool. That's fun. I am finding it very, very difficult for me to parse through exactly what I want to do with Luka, SGA, Garland. Utilizing the point guard, and what's happening is I'm getting a ton of Tatum. I did not have any
Okay.
Tatum, and because of the power forward, small forward, power forward, I think it's just giving me unlimited amount of him, 9,500. Am I that upset with it when I'm going to be playing like 3, 4 Cavs in every single lineup? And obviously I need this game to stay somewhat competent. No, like I'm not that upset with it, but I will say that I am very curious the push-pull effect that we get based on Garland, LeVert, how much Luka people end up getting in their lives today, because he's the guy I project, and we have projected here at Stochastic by over 7, or right at 7 fantasy points difference between SGA and Luka. And instead of that question, for me, it's kind of like just getting to trace amounts of both of them, like right around the field. SG is 44% owned. My first run here, I got 48%. Luka, 31.6% ownership. I got 40. And that's because I have more Sam Merrill than it would appear everybody else is going to. And that's pushing him a little bit further up for me. But Jason Tatum is nearly in every single thing that I'm doing. 68% of my first run. I'm going to try to trim that down and make it a little bit more palatable, but partially the blowout concern and everything else that everybody else is going to be thinking about. Just going to be paying attention to the ownership like everybody else here, because I'm not confident about which one you should be getting to more of, but there's no doubt that the Garland piece, if he's going to be 80% owned that we got in our last run, there has to be a path to get to more Luka as opposed to SG and just kind of living with the result.
I'm really curious what I'm going to end up getting to. So I had 50% Tatum before this started, but I was a third of the field Luka, a third of the field SGA. But I had 75, 80% of Donovan Mitchell. All of that has to go somewhere. And I don't have a great feel of where it's going to go. My guess is SGA, and that I still end up light on Luka. But it's possible that just all of that LeVert value is what gets me to Luka. I'm really curious to see that dynamic between Garland and Luka, SGA, Kyrie, all of that stuff at the top. Okay, first run, not so crazy. I can handle that. We're halfway there, at least. We'll get a better look at it.
Sam Merrill, 3,100. My God, if this guy can just smash for me one time, that would be epic.
Merrill?
Can I get... Yeah, he's such a better play, I think, than Isaiah Joe, than Aaron Wiggins, than all these guys. Because, I mean, Joe went up $400. We're getting 3,100 for a guy that I'm pretty positive sees more court time than anybody's projecting right now. And that's okay. I mean, it's not that I'm going to move him past 26 minutes, where I think I'm probably the heaviest on him amongst everything. But my goodness, it's just, he'll play blowout run. He'll play when it's competitive. He should just be on the floor nonstop. So it's a pretty easy play at 3,100 for me to know he's out there to do one thing and one thing only. And even if it goes poorly, they don't really have an option other than to try to keep going to him, or I would assume so, unless you got everybody else cooking on the Cleveland side, which seems unlikely.
It does indeed. All right. So we're obviously in a different path of what we're normally doing on this show, but I am not changing up what we're doing right now. It is time for you and everybody here to find out who is going to be today's exotic play of the day.
We having fun today? That was the fastest half hour in the history of a show.
It moved quite promptly.
It was silliness. You're talking me into Merrill now. Yeah, I'm trying Malakar. Again, yesterday, I can't really do anything about massive, insane blowouts. I don't play the basketball. I just analyze the basketball, and it is what it is. Yesterday, the Knicks were very disappointing.
That is an understatement.
Yep.
I was just like, what is happening here? I was like, I don't feel like my guys are playing all that well. Then I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's because they aren't.
Can I have a little money back in my pocket, please? That'd be great.
I cashed one lineup of my 50, if that's interesting to anybody.
One of 40 for me. Yeah. I got $8 back. It was great.
1,000 out, 30 back.
I had like 180 in or something. Yeah, I got completely smothered.
Yeah, it was It was tough. At one point, I had none cashing, and I was like, "Oh, this will be a fun one."
It's an enjoyable experience. And especially after you had like a good night the night before and you're feeling confident, you're like, I'm close. I'm right there. And then the next day, no, you're not. No, you're
Things
not.
are working again.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
All right, I got my first run done, so I can take a preliminary look at what I got right out of the gate.
I'm not
This
going
is
to make
no edits, no whatever, but we can't do anything until we get that exotic play of the day.
All right, Luka. So we're going to see a ton of ownership on Darius Garland. I think rightfully so. We're going to see a ton of ownership on Caris LeVert. I think 11-2 is not too difficult to be landing on here today. And I'm not. The Sam Merrill thing is kind of a calculated risk where I am hoping that they go to him for more minutes. And I don't think a hope and a wish is what you're looking for in the exotic play section. So Luka Doncic, we have all the money to spend up for him. I think we should probably do so. I'm going to give him a little bit of a boost beyond the 40% that I'm at. So Luka Doncic, exotic play of the night.
Ooh.
Come on.
What?
Really? Where was that photo from? Did you just put that? You just put that together now?
What's happening?
Put it up.
I didn't see it.
Put it up, jerk. Look at this.
You're the Tiger Queen, I guess. Not bad. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Oh, you all right? It's okay. They seem like nice guys. Good hangs.
When I make 50K and post the screenshots of all the slips, you have to show me some respect on this show, Jordan Klein.
Doubtful. My play for today, it's going a little bit different. It doesn't appear that I'm going to have a crazy amount of Luka Doncic. I do have a decent chunk of Sam Merrill, but there's one guy I have more than Sam Merrill that qualifies for this play. And it's the most fun one you can have. Come on down, Derek White. You are my white of the night. 17% owned. I've got 36% right now. Love it. Love it.
Wow. I think Drew is actually my Derek White this week.
I have him too.
Oh, you do have some Drew too?
By the way,
Drew
100% Caris
really
LeVert, 80% Garland.
It's very understandable. I have 60% Garland, but again, just trimming Garland, getting more Luka, pretty easy equation.
Yeah. Also, guys, if you want to be set up for what's happening now, trying to make your changes, running the Sims with updated data, having better information than everybody else, you could use the promo code Edwards. Get our NBA Sims Max package for a week for $19.99. It's normally 60 bones. You're getting a hell of a deal here. It covers you for main slates and showdown. So lots going on the NBA side. Projections, ownership, boom bust tool, contest generator, lineup generator, post-contest simulation tool, our Discord, and more. You get it all for $19.99. This is the perfect time to get in. We're talking about all of these updates right now. By having a Sims tool like this, you are getting out in front of everybody else. Or people are going to be able to react to this news today. You will be in a better position by having a simulation tool right now. Or at the very least, using our lineup generator if you want to come in at a different price point. But $19.99 for a week of Sims Max. Got to sign up now using the promo code Edwards. Link in chat or the description. Who are your favorite GPP plays?
Sam Merrill. It's just.
By the way, I have 30%. We did get another ownership update like a minute or two ago.
Okay, I'm going to paste that in. I am getting 100% Caris LeVert, so I am 7% over the field on him. He has some leverage. Max Strus, I'm playing an eternal amount. It would appear positionality of shooting guard small forward, too good to pass up. Luka, I'm over the field on him. I think you give me a slate where I get to more Sam Merrill, more Caris LeVert, both sub 5K, one sub 4K. Down at the Dweller there at 3,100, I'm going to have access to more Luka as a result, and I probably should play him. Jason Tatum, I have in north of 50% of my lineups. I want to save this one because he's somebody that I hadn't been kidding at all. And I just want to hear what you're doing with PJ Washington at some point in time, because I can't get over how badly he has burned me the last two slates he has appeared on. But I also like Chet Holmgren a little bit at center. This is kind of a weird one where we haven't seen him play very well within this series in any way, shape, or form. But you got to think that they're going to find a way to get him offensively involved. He comes off of 35 minutes, only 9 shot attempts last time out. He had attempted 16 and 12 in games 1 and 2 respectively. Got to think that the usage is going to be coming back up there. Should be able to shoot as many threes as humanly possibly wants. Because pull Gafford away, they went to Lively. Then Lively was chasing him around a little bit, but I think Chet's kind of an interesting guy for tournaments here as well. But now, God, is he 33.6% owned in our last run? Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh boy. Okay.
I'm light on Chet right now.
I'm going to take back everything I just said. That came up from last run, I believe.
I have 62% of PJ Washington, so he's going to turn back into a pumpkin tonight.
They're just allowing him to shoot threes. And obviously they had to rip Giddey off the floor. Giddey started on him in that first quarter from what I saw. Went baseline on him a couple times, knocked down
They've been guarding him with SGA a lot, which
SGA
is basically
kind of been the guy.
Yeah, which is telling you something. They don't
but I'm saying there's only been like 10, 11 minutes or whatever of Giddey in these spots. I think I saw the Giddey blow by, and then did they hide him over in the corner on that? Have they had SG primary defender? Okay, I'm just curious now.
More recently, yes.
Okay.
Phil Sensic hit us with the super chat. What bench boys are we ROI boosting if blowout in Cleveland? I won't be doing that.
I won't be doing it at all. I am getting to Peyton Pritchard a little bit. But again, point guard is very, very valuable. And like, you're playing a blowout narrative for Peyton Pritchard. He's got to put up like 30. Like, it doesn't do you enough to just I'll get the exact target score for him here, but
21.
4K and put this in. Somebody taught me how to do this one time. He's a really nice guy, but he was really mean to me at times.
Never have been.
Okay, thanks. I've got him for 23.5 as well, like identical to Karis LeVert, which is hilarious.
It really is. It really is. I'm running my final run now, I guess.
What's the difference between having a point guard and a shooting guard, potentially? It's not right. Oh, my Lord. All right, do this one more time. I'm going to give a little bit of a boost because I've got like, one lineup if it's like 2.5% of 40 of Jason Wallace.
What do you think Karis LeVert is actually owned? I'm going to say like 81.
84. But in the $20, I'll go like 84. We've had like the Gafford piece. He ended up a little bit lower. A couple of these other, this is the best one of all of them. And so I'm going to go up north of 80%. I'll say 84% Karis LeVert. But we have so much casual money, like more casual money than you think. Like there's no way that with everything that we had projected at Stochastic for Alec Burks, that he ends up 27% for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, there's more casual money in the two gamers here where people can put lineups together easier.
All right. I got all the information updated in my sheet. As long as we haven't put out another update in those previous couple seconds, which it does not appear that we have, then I'm going to start off my final run of everything. Before we do anything, though, guys, I do want to talk a little bit about Underdog. They are the sponsor of this show. They're kind of the best place for you to be, especially if you're not in a legal sports betting state, because they have everything you could want. They're a one-stop shop for products of fantasy sports. They have pick'em contests. If you're in a non-legal betting state, you get 20x your money. They have daily fantasy contests. They have large field GPPs every single day. Best ball, it's what they're known for. Giant $1 million prizes for best ball. It's everybody's favorite thing for the NFL. If I were an NFL fan, I would probably love the hell out of it. But for those that are NFL fans, if you're not playing best ball on Underdog, you're probably making a mistake. They even do playoff drafts for the NBA, for the NHL, for PGA majors. We have a PGA major coming up, don't we?
No, yeah, definitely do.
Fun. You guys can do that. Sign up clicking the link in the description or the one in chat. You'll get up to $100 on your first deposit. Sorry, up to $250 on your first deposit per the graphic on the screen right now.
Yep,
Get
it's
that extra money.
50% first deposit match. So if you deposit 500, you get 250. Yep. Yep.
Slightly different read in my reads document, but we'll take what we can get here. Sign up for Underdog.
I'll be doing the
Where are we
cardio
at?
club too. If you guys go to my Twitter at X. So for the BBM for the Best Ball Mania, they're doing a thing where you can do up to like 50 drafts, and there's like incremental gifts and tickets and things that they'll give you. I maxed it out like 3 years ago or 2 years ago it was. Last year I didn't do nearly as much best ball, just didn't really have the time with MLB kind of taking over my life. But I will definitely be making a concerted effort with the cardio club to be firing that up. A really cool way to get some extra tickets as you're accumulating it, as you're going through drafting. Yeah, some of it might be more expensive on the $25 end, but it doesn't mean that you can't be in that Discord and be firing up some cool stuff. And obviously, Underdog, a really, really great site to be a part of it, as is in the best ball streets and the drafting streets. So yeah, I would be signing up for that for sure for that alone.
Josh, not a football fan, just proves he's a Canadian. Nope.
We only have one of them here at the site.
I've been in Canada for 48 hours in my entire life.
Oh, I used to do the road trips like we'd go, so I'm from South Dakota, we'd go through North Dakota up to, was it Manitoba? Is that where we went fishing? We'd just go drink and fish when we were
No one's supposed to be there. You're driving into the area that shouldn't exist. I went to Niagara Falls.
See, that's a normal place to go. That's like, I think that's the chalk of, so it's that or Victoria, British Columbia. When you go up from Seattle, you take the boat up. Used to do that. Really beautiful gardens up there. If anybody's from the area, it's a phenomenal, phenomenal boat ride.
Yo, Josh, Sycamore this weekend. See you there. I don't even know what that means.
Sycamore, is that a club team that I've never heard of?
I have no idea at all what that person is talking about. Don't know what Sycamore is. Sycam less, I always say. Who are you fading?
It would appear that I have like no Kyrie at the moment, which is ironic because I'm also on his points prop and 3-point props and alternates and everything there. And now it would appear that I don't want him to succeed at DFS. He's 8,300 too. It's a positional thing. How many guard spots do we get? I wish we had 5 today. We have 4. So point guard, shooting guard, guard, utility, high. It is really hard for me to get to him there. I don't have a ton of Jalen Williams either at the moment, even with the point guard, small forward. So congratulations to Jalen Williams for smashing here today. Derek Jones Jr., Aaron Wiggins, all of these cheapies on the Isaiah Joe. I'm trimming all of these guys relative to their ownership. That's just a product of Karis LeVert and Sam Merrill being in, well, 100 and nearly 50% of my lineups in my last run. We'll see where it finishes out here. We got 12 minutes.
Yeah, I could talk about some fades in a minute or two once this finishes up. I don't think it's going to change too much from what I have. My 3 biggest fades right now are Max Strus, SGA, and Chet. I'll likely have a little bit more of SGA by the time I get to lock. Isaac Okoro is not somebody that I'm getting a terribly large amount of. Those are all the guys at the bottom of my list in terms of being under the field. I was at least relatively neutral now to Luka, a little bit over on Kyrie, 70% of Jason Tatum. So it's not like I'm not paying up, but SGA appearing to be my kryptonite for today.
Oh boy. Can't get everybody. I'm going the Luka Tatum route. You're going are you getting to Luka now or no?
I had 26% on my last run.
Okay. Feels light for today. Maybe not. You're notorious for your Luka stance, so I get it.
I don't love it. Trust me.
You've got an image to uphold.
I don't like it, dude.
Oh man, it'll be okay.
I don't want it.
Don't have enough power. Let's see. I am finishing this up. All right, simulating slate for the final time. Here we go.
Yep. You and me both.
Whew.
Got my first one done, doing my second
one time dealer. Be something I don't completely hate. Please.
I know my stuff isn't going to change too much from what I have, so I'm feeling pretty good I just needed to finish up.
Please talk me out of my fears. Tatum blowout fear. I have the same fear, and I'm playing a shit ton of him. I don't know what you're supposed to do other than play him. It's the same thing with the Knicks. I don't play the game. I just simply look at what the ownership is relative to the projection that we have. It's stochastic relative to everything else and all the factors that go into it. And then I let the lineups and the data do the work. I don't want to have my biases, in my opinion, show up as much in my lineups. Like, I can go in and I can ROI boost a little bit here and there, and I can have some preference on getting to a little bit more Luka, whereas that can be something that, doesn't necessarily need to be there for Josh or anybody else's lineups. But at the end of the day, what you don't want to do is say, I think this is going to happen, and then have all of your lineups get screwed when the data is smarter than you. So at the end of the day, like for me, I'm running it. I have certain measurements of what I want to achieve in terms of like my lineups. You can tier it based on contest size and everything else here in the Sims tool. Let that do the work for you.
Couldn't agree more.
That being said, 100% Karis LeVert, and now 69% Darius Garland. Nice.
There it is. That is very nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I just finished my run, pasted in. Now we make tweaks.
I got more Garland than I was expecting this last time through. 61% Tatum. I don't know how you don't play Tatum with the positionality today. I just play him.
He looks fantastic right now. All right, I have everybody in. If I don't make changes, it's 100% LeVert, and it's 70% Garland right now.
That's exactly what I have.
20% of Luka, 30% of SGA, 64% of Tatum. All of that feels pretty good right now.
Sounds oddly like mine.
I won't have to really make too many tweaks here. So I'm most over the field on Derek Jones Jr. I could walk him back a little bit. And then Jalen Williams, the one that never seems to be correct for me personally.
That one.
A lot of Tatum, a lot of PJ Washington, which I really despise. 70-something% of Garland looks fine. Biggest fade is Max Strus, but I have 24%. I could handle that. Chet's next. A little light on Evan Mobley. I feel pretty good with what I have. I don't really think that I have anything else that I want to change here. This whole slate, I'll tell you what has changed though. This whole slate.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome one. It's going to be an awesome slate, I think. I'm pretty excited.
I was when I had a lot of Mitchell. These situations usually crush me. Like Karis LeVert's going to sprain an ankle in 30 seconds or something.
And again, that's where it's like, if you're...
Nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do. And you live with it. You move on to the next day. That's the nice part about DFS. From a betting perspective, there's a reason that we talk about units and being, somebody who, the nicest thing you can get with your bankroll is more bankroll and being able to upgrade yourself into a better position as you continue on. So everything can be incremental in units rather than saying, I'm going to bet more here, or this is my last 100 and I'm going to do this. Like, at the end of the day, you want to be in this for the long haul and you want to take advantage when the getting in is good. Like DFS is unquestionably more difficult now, but the tools we have are more sophisticated now too. So it kind of works both ways where you're in a better spot than you probably were before just by utilizing the tools. But anyway, I'm talking in circles. I'm just waiting for my stuff to go. 6 minutes. And I'm hard capping Sam Merrill at 50%. I just ran it again and got more. I don't want that.
I have 32.
That's more of where I want to be. I'm doing something to get rid of this.
We got a super chat from the Thunder. He said, on the Sims tool, what do you set the contest archetype to for a 20 max? Well, it depends on the 20 max.
Go to the dead middle of the scale of, I just go between the balanced and the low stakes. And that's how I run my $4 ones primarily. It's a good middle ground between like mini max contest lineups and what you'd be looking at in like the $20. Yeah. I think that's a really good, like move the bar right to the middle. So you have Marquee in the middle, low stakes on the left there. Jordan Klein showing you there on the screen. I think setting it there, making your pool size 5,000, running it, I'll put 2 pool sizes together, and then I'll basically have half of what the $4 would look like in my mind.
Yeah, there you go.
That's my process for it. So
Generally, like it's a balancing act between how small the field gets and how big the buy-in is for where
Yes.
you want to put that.
Or how contrarian the lineups will end up.
Yep.
It'll ramp up a little bit.
Well, I got my stuff in right now. Currently, based on our ownership projections, we have 479% ownership projected to the first game. I have 472. I'm spot on the field in terms of aggregate ownership, but lots of positive stands, negative stands, whatever. My guys most over the field are Jalen Williams, Derek Jones Jr., PJ Washington, and Sam Merrill. Jason Tatum not too far behind. I ended up with 20% Luka and 26% SGA, but 64% of Jason Tatum. So there's 122% ownership going to those three dudes, and I have 110 right now.
Okay. I like that a lot. How much Derek White did you end up with? Because now I'm higher on him as well, and I didn't see that coming.
26.
Okay. I have more than that.
I have 42 of Drew now.
Okay, so we did the flip-flop. I just had a bunch of Drew, and now it kind of fell off the map here. There must be a shooting guard thing going. And that makes no sense because it's just 100% Karis LeVert. So that's not what changed.
And my biggest fade is Max Strus.
Max Strus is. I am not fading him. He is in half my lineups.
I am half the field, so I have 24%. So it's not that I don't have him, but if he's in half of stuff, that's the place that I'm going to be light. Oh man, I just hate how much Derek Jones Jr. I have.
I would rather. How much Lively did you play?
46.
Okay, so you're about. I mean, he was an half. I started trimming away a little bit of that and getting to more Derek Jones Jr. I really don't have a problem with it. Plus, if you're making 40, 50 lineups, you'll be able to see kind of going into the next game what you have available to you and kind of assess those specific lineups on a case-by-case basis. Like, I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Brandon Wagner wants to know how much Dean Wade we got.
I think zero.
I have one share, which is essentially just randomness for me.
I'm going to find out right now. I have one. One.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would get one in 40, but there we are.
I didn't want to, but it's there.
3,400. A different slate, a different time. Yeah, that'd be useful.
If you were just power forward eligible.
Yes, you'd be in everything. I'd have a ton of him, I'm sure. But
I mean, he'd be probably 10 to 15% owned instead of 7.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sam Merrill is the Amber Heard play of the night. So that's cool. And Nuke of the night, I'll just throw it out there for the people. I'm not going to make it Cleveland centric. It would appear that Luka Doncic, that is going to be my dude. So running back the exotic play.
My nuke of the night. I'm going right back to my dude who never nukes. It's Jalen Williams.
He never does.
It's the least nukey of all nukes. Really a problem.
Nuke.
Do I want to bump? I don't want to bump Luka right now. Do I want to bump Shea?
Yeah, I think you want to. Yeah, I think you want to bump the guy who's projected for the most if you're going to be playing 30-ish% of Sam Merrill, because it's like a hand-in-hand thing.
All right. No, I didn't. I bumped SGA to 30%.
Never mind.
I'm really nervous about Luka's health.
Oh, I am too, but also he's unhealthy, or he's healthy until he's not. And I mean, Kyrie did take
his usage rate has been coming down on a game-by-game basis.
Thing. Well, look at his second half usage rate. Yeah. It's been wild watching Kyrie take over basketball games.
All right, I'm happy with what I have now. 100% of LeVert, 70% Garland, 64% PJ Washington, 62% Tatum, 58 Jalen Williams, 54% Derek Jones Jr. So those 6 guys are my most important 6. And my goal, I'm hoping 4 of them succeed and hit their target score. 4 would be a win. 5 would be like, okay, I'm live tonight. 3 is the disaster. And kind of LeVert and Garland are already like locked into it. So if LeVert fails, that's a problem.
Yeah. Here's the thing though. He's not going to. So we're going to have some fun tonight, I think, my friend. I do kind of want to stay on just to see what the ownership is in the $20 of Karis LeVert.
Well, you can do that right now. We're going to go check it out on Playback. You guys see the links in chat, playback.tv/stochastic. We're going to go watch the first half of Cleveland and Boston. And if you're one of the lucky 40 people that get a VIP pass, you could watch along with us. We will see you guys soon. Shout out to Underdog. We out. Ooh, a new little leave icon. That's fun.